So my Launch 1.0 program includes cluster sets in it, and I got a few questions about cluster sets from some people on Instagram, so I figured I'd just make a video. But real quickly, I'll just kind of go over the purpose of cluster sets, and that's to accrue a high number of quality reps compared to traditional sets. Cluster sets typically reduce the rate of perceived exertion over the course of all of the reps done compared to traditional sets, and they reduce the acute fatigue after sets during a session. So one of the questions I was asked was, can cluster sets improve things like strength endurance or power endurance? And the short answer to that is no. Strength and endurance, or power and endurance, are two different qualities. And I really don't even think there's such thing as strength endurance or power endurance, and maybe I'll make a video on that at another time. But I get why this question could be asked. If you perform cluster sets, you probably can continue to train at a given load or intensity for a greater period of time, but cluster sets wouldn't challenge your ability to endure higher outputs under fatigue the same way a traditional set would. Therefore, cluster sets would actually be antithetical to this. And then the other question I got regarding cluster sets was, would it be worthwhile doing cluster sets for things like curls or tricep extensions? And my answer to that is you could, but not really. I think you're better off just performing things like rest pause sets or myo reps. I think the exercises that are most conducive to cluster sets are the main compound lifts like squat, bench, deadlift, maybe Olympic lifts and loaded jumps. And for rep ranges, I definitely wouldn't do clusters of more than 5 reps, and I probably would even say don't do more than 3 reps for most people. The point of cluster sets is that the reps should be high quality, have good bar speed, a good bar path, and high intent each rep. If you're grinding out reps, the cluster sets loses its effectiveness. And then my last point I want to make on cluster sets is that even though the research is pretty favorable to cluster sets over traditional sets for like an 8-week or a 12-week study, if you have cluster sets included into your training at all times, it's going to lose its effectiveness just due to the principle of accommodation. So just switch it in and out of your training here and there. I wouldn't always rely on it to be like your main go-to type of training, because your performance levels or your fitness levels matter 8 years from now more than 8 weeks from now. So hopefully that information is helpful. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.